Hey guys, this is Healthy Life Designing. I am Darian. Today I am at the Spring Valley Nature Preserve, incredible park. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. But my guest today is also gorgeous inside and out. Her name is Kalee Maloney. She owns Radiant Wild and she is a part of a lot of different fitness facilities around Columbus and Granville, Ohio. And in just a moment, she will be coming on to share her story as to why she came back to Ohio and all of the incredible things that she's been able to do with her business. So stick around, we will be right back.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I'm a recovering addict. For 10 of the last 11 years, I've been struggling with addiction, homelessness, incarceration, and just loneliness. However, since getting clean this past year, I've accomplished more than I have in those 10 years combined. After attending outpatient counseling services, inpatient counseling services, living in a sober living house, and attending 12-step meetings, I've been able to regain control of my life and begin to achieve goals I've always dreamed of. Addiction can destroy lives in many ways. Whether you need help with childcare or financial assistance, everyone deserves a new beginning. Recovery supports are just that, supports for recovery. My life mattered. Your life matters too.
This message is brought to you by the Fairfield County Adam H. Board.
Hey guys, Darian Rolls, Healthy Life Designing. We've got our fabulous, gorgeous gal here today, Kalee Maloney. She's the owner of Radiant Wild. It's a really cool new business where she teaches yoga and incorporates a couple different types of fitness along with it. And she's really inspiring. And today, welcome to the show, Kalee.
Thank you so much, Darian.
So you left Ohio for a short amount of time.
Yes.
But then you found your way back.
Yes. So I left Ohio. I graduated from Ohio State and then left for a period of time with my husband. He played professional baseball for 11 years. And so I had the opportunity to travel with him. And before I had decided to leave Ohio, I was working as a personal trainer in Columbus. And I knew that I couldn't sustain that and move around. Do you know what I mean? And I knew we were going to be moving a lot,
right?
You know, so I left my job there and went to teacher training for yoga because at that point in my life I was really into, and still am, traditional hot yoga, Bikram yoga. So in most every major city, that type of yoga is offered. So I knew that if I got trained in that, I could travel and teach. That community is really welcoming of traveling teachers and getting new faces in. So I knew that I'd probably have the opportunity to teach while still supporting him in his venture to play ball.
Right.
So we lived all over, and eventually he was traded to the Reds, and so we were back in Cincinnati and moved a bit from there. He got traded to the Twins, and I was in Indianapolis helping them open a studio in 2013, and then came back to Ohio in 2014 when another studio was opening in Columbus, and I was getting ready to have my first baby, and I thought, I sort of want to be close to family again.
Yeah.
You know, not all the way, that we're both from Northern Ohio, my husband and I, about 2 hours near Sandusky, Cedar Point, so, but close enough where we can make frequent visits and they can know the family really well. So, yeah, we've been back since then, and it's been a ride.
Nice.
Yeah.
And your business, Radiant Wild, for one, I love the name.
Thank you.
And it's so cool. It's so
you.
different. Even when I just saw the name, I'm like, wow, she has got to be somebody really cool because the name is just so unique.
Thank you.
In itself. But can you tell us just a little bit about that?
It's been a vision that's not been something that I'm like, this is exactly what I want to do. It's just been, I've sort of allowed it to organically unfold. I have 2 young babies, well, not babies, but a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and motherhood is really still my main focus, and I want it to remain that way while they're still so young. But I knew that from teaching the different types of fitness and yoga and being pretty close closely connected to women in that community, and meditation is a huge part of Radiant Wild as well, and that has been such a game changer for me. And incorporating both the yoga and meditation into Mother Nature, like getting women back out, like letting them reconnect with the land. It's a remembering of the things that are in our cells, but sort of have been tapered down by lifestyle and society. So, like I said, I'm just letting it sort of grow,
Evolve
naturally and slowly, so that I can still really make motherhood a priority, but so that I can really start to share all the things that I've experienced, all the benefits that I've experienced from connecting with nature and meditating and moving my body, and letting it grow that way. And it's working. It's working, you know?
Right.
Just since the spring, it's putting out Radiant Wild. It's been so beautifully received, so I'm really so grateful.
And how did you come about the name?
Radiant has always been like in my mind, that quality of not just having something, but being able to like share it. You know what I mean? Like when you're joyful, sharing your joy, like letting it really overwhelm the senses so that it's affecting other people in a positive way as well. And in my years of teaching, and even when I was younger, that was sort of a lot of the feedback I got, like, you're infectious, you know, and so it seemed to fit, you know. And then wild is, again, part of the rewilding process, like bringing women, and not just women, because we are coming up on some events that are going to include more than just women, bringing people back to the wild, you know, letting that wild woman loose again, and not feeling any guilt or shame about it, and how much freedom that brings to the whole person.
Right.
Yeah.
And speaking of freedom and the whole wild part, you incorporate a little bit of like a belly dance type thing within.
Yes. So it's not belly dancing, very similar though, booty yoga, booty B-U-T-I.
Yes.
And that has been, I've been teaching that a couple years now. So transformative for me. I knew the minute that I took my first class that I wanted to teach it. Like it was, I remember driving home and just being like sobbing, like, oh my gosh, it wasn't a feeling in my mind, it was a feeling in my body. Like my body was like, you needed that, thank you. The type of yoga that I had been doing and still do practice, the traditional hot yoga, is very disciplined, and it's a set of 26 postures and 2 breathing exercises. It has wonderful benefits, but it doesn't allow the freedom where booty yoga does. You know, booty yoga is very, you're using that spiral structure, so you're connecting with the energy of nature, that spiral energy. It's really great for abdominal toning, so wonderful for mothers who are trying to get their abdominals to close again, you know, and it wakes up the energy. Like, you know, you're going through each energy center, and I'll tell women when they come to the events or when they're taking classes, because I'm still teaching at studios, don't be surprised if in a couple days or tonight or tomorrow you feel something or you feel different, and just notice that, because that's the energy, you know, that's the energy, and let it wake up and come back, because just because you don't maybe get it the first time, it's going to come more naturally. And it does, and it's been so fulfilling to watch women free themselves that way,
being vulnerable within another group, with other women, and
connecting,
and you're outside and you're in nature, where you can get more grounded and more centered naturally,
because you have all the elements.
And people forget that you know, that's why they say get outside, go walk. It's not just, hey, somebody wants you to go get healthier and have some exercise. It's the peaceness and the calmness that comes. There is a felt sense. There is a healing that happens when you are consistent in being out in nature. I mean, it is palpable. I mean, I know if I go a couple days without it, I know if I'm edgy, I'm more irritable. My husband will be like,
you know, you haven't taken a long hike, you know? And I'm like, you're right. I need to get out, or I need to turn the music up in the kitchen and dance, you know? So that's sort of, you know, that booty yoga is a combination of all of that. Yeah.
And so what are some other things that, the type of events that you've hosted? Can you talk about those?
Yeah. So I always include at least a section of meditation. I'm right in the midst of meditation teacher training through Michelle Vinberry with Yoga on High. She's amazing. Thank you, Michelle. She's an amazing teacher. She's running an Untamed Wisdom meditation teacher training, and so that's super in alignment with what Radiant Wild is about. So that's been very synchronistic. That just started in the summer for me. So I'm including a meditation with usually before the yoga, and then the yoga practice, which runs about 75 minutes. That's the primal yoga, the booty yoga, really fun, really intense. And then connecting and sharing at the end. We'll usually have half hour to 45 minutes at the end where I have a nice spread of food prepared. I love to work in the kitchen. So I'll have a lot of healthy options for the women to nourish their bodies, because that's such a big part of it too, you know? What we're putting into our systems.
Absolutely.
To allow the radiance, you know, like radiant health.
Yes.
So,
well, and to keep up in everyday life. What you're putting in on the rush on the go is normally the wrong things.
Absolutely.
Fill up your cup with something healthy.
Right. And that has been, and connecting over food is just something women do when you put them in the space and give them that. They'll do it naturally.
Give me some food. Oh yeah, I'm happy. I love food.
Exactly.
Especially if it's cooked and prepared. But the better part of that is too, you love it so much and you have this bigger passion when you make your food, and you have that energy, the connection between you and the food, and then to share that with others. Right. Which I've talked about that on the show before, and being a health coach and a trainer. I mean, I know how important that is. But we're going to take a break here in just a second, but you have the skills, just you like to give. You're a giver. Yeah. And I just saw on a recent post that you make your own sourdough bread.
Yes, I do.
For yourself, and then you give one away.
Yes,
and
I do.
I just wanted to make sure people knew that, because that right there just says who you are. Yeah. Because I cannot make bread for the life of me, but I know how much time and energy those things take. Yeah. And to be that person that dedicates something every week for your family, for your friends. Yeah. I just think that that's a really incredible thing that you do.
Thank you. It's a really special tradition that we've been doing since March, and it was particularly impactful during quarantine. You know, I would just drop a loaf off at a friend's or somebody that I knew was, you know, maybe having a tough week. Yes. And that's, again, it's something where both parties receive. You know what I mean? It's not just, and that's important.
Absolutely.
That it's a reciprocal, you know?
And speaking of receive, we've been receiving beautiful weather here. I have to be careful with the weather just a little bit, because I wanted to mention where we are. We're at the Spring Valley Nature Preserve. If you've never seen it, definitely Google it, check it out. This place has trails. It's gorgeous, it's peaceful, it's kind of hidden. But we're gonna take a quick break with Kalee Maloney right here with Radiant Wild. So when we come back, we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into some more things that she offers. So stick around and we're gonna be right back.
Dagger Law has been part of the Lancaster community for more than 110 years. This is where we live and work. You'll see us at festivals, sporting events, and all around town. We consider our clients as friends, and we walk alongside you through challenging times. Whether you're a growing business, a changing family, facing litigation, planning your future, or dealing with land issues, we're right here. We are local. We are trusted. We are experienced. Dagger Law.
Fairfield Medical Center took care of me like I was family.
I was made to feel like I was the only person that they were going to see that day, even though I knew that wasn't the case.
Everyone at Fairfield Medical Center was very attentive. They just put my mind at ease.
I was there for 12 days, and I felt comfortable there. were. We were people to them, not a number. They took the time to get to know us, our personalities.
Well, they saved my life. You know, how do you beat that?
I don't know how I could have gotten through it without them.
Experience Fairfield Medical Center.
Fairfield Federal. When it comes to our customers and our community, we go above and beyond to help. Our people make the difference.
We were retiring from Tucson, Arizona, and we made a retirement trip out around Ohio, having decided that's where we wanted to be. And we came across this town called Lancaster, and we fell in love with the downtown area where the fountain is and the memorials and the flags and all this stuff. And we looked around and I said, there's our bank right there.
There's something to be said about a community bank in your hometown.
Right. If you live in the community, you should do business in the community as much as possible. So it makes sense to bank with the community bank where you live.
Fairfield Federal is the bank to be at. If you live in this town, or any town actually, you want to bank at a local home bank. And the employees are happy here, they're conversant, customer service is through the roof. There's nothing more you could ask for.
Personal or business banking, whatever you need, we take it seriously because we know you do. Stop by today at any of our 3 locations and see why the difference is clear. Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan specializes in banking that revolves around you.
Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Hey guys, we're back. Spring Valley Nature Preserve is the location that you see behind us that is amazing, along with Kalee Maloney that is also amazing. I'm just really grateful that we have beautiful weather.
Yes.
With a beautiful guest, and she is just doing, you guys, so many things that are lifting women up. And just talking with you, even when we were on the phone, you have this thing about you, this energy about you, just like this warmth and love, and it is projected, I mean, even through the phone. And I'm like, I cannot wait to meet her because she just seems like such a great person. So that makes me wonder, are there things that have come up for the women that you've been able to help when you're hosting these events and retreats? I mean, does anything come to your mind?
Yeah, you know, it can be really subtle at first. I think that's why so many women are drawn to it to begin with, because at first it might be like, oh, this is really fun, like look, everybody's doing it, you know.
Yes.
Or if you really love fitness, you know, it's a wonderful workout. And of course I'm so happy that people would come for that reason. But at the same time that they're getting this really great workout, or they're you know, getting to get together with their girlfriends, or they're getting to be outside, there's this deeper, almost awakening that's happening. And sometimes you don't even know that it's happening. You know what I mean? You know, a year will pass where if you've been taking classes with me, or, you know, in general, taking classes, you're like, wow, I feel really different. You know, I feel really healed in this part of my life or this part of my life. And I do have a friend who recently went through her 3rd miscarriage, and it was pretty far along in her pregnancy. And maybe a couple months ago, she came and took her she came to the first Radiant Wild gathering. She had been I did a Blessing Way as well. I did a Radiant Wild Blessing Way for a mutual friend of ours.
And we're gonna have to come back to that. So we need to make sure we hit on that.
Okay, we can come back to that. So she had been present at that. At that time, she was still pregnant. So a couple months passed, she lost her baby, and came to the gathering, the Radiant Wild gathering, when she was ready, after her miscarriage. And both her and her husband now, maybe a few times, have reached out to me on their own. You know, he'll reach out to me because we're friends in the community as well, and he's like, I know Jessica will tell you in her own time, but what you're doing for her, I see something is different. Like, I see her courage and her confidence, and I see things coming alive that have not been alive for a while. And then, you know, she has now since told me that herself. Like, you know, she's very open, and she's been wonderful in supporting me and sharing the events and coming to the gatherings. But it's emotional, you know, especially when you move that intensely in the practice part of it. And you're, you know, I really encourage women to be vocal. You know, it's a loud practice. You're hooting, you're hollering, you're howling, you're, you know, if it's hard, you're growling. You know what I mean? It's primal. It's letting all of that up, you know.
Which is the wild component.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And it feels so good. And, you know, even if at first you're like, this is weird, you know, you sort of fake it till you make it, and then you're like, I'm like, just do it. Yeah, let it out. And you get to doing it, and it really is this powerful release and also this deep healing. Yes. So it's been, again, really moving to watch an instance like with Jessica, where there is a lot of pain and a lot of healing that needs to be done. Her able to step into her own power and say, I can do this. You know what I mean? I'm strong enough to do this. She said to me at the last event, in tears at the end, I realized I could do hard things. Like, you know, I finally realized I could do hard things. And that was just a really beautiful moment that we shared over, you know, quinoa salad.
Which is the best anyways.
Yes.
And the blessing, what does he call it? The blessing way?
The blessing way. So that's like a spiritual version of a baby shower. And so when I was dreaming up Radiant Wild and what could I make this so that it's more than just yoga, I asked my best friend at the time, Kaylee, who lives in Columbus. She was almost ready to give birth, you know, and I said, could I throw you a blessing way? I'd love to try my hand at a blessing way and see if I could bring the magic of Radiant Wild into it, see if I could sort of use my vision. And it was amazing. It was amazing. We did just a really 20 or 30 minutes of gentle movement. It wasn't like booty yoga, but still incorporating, you know, a little bit of the spiraling and the goddess, kind of that goddess essence, you know. And then we had elements of nature. We did a little meditation. We all laid hands on her, blessed the belly. Her mom was there, which was amazing. You know, you're talking about, you know, ancestors and
you're bringing a new life into the picture. And her mother.
And it was held at my dear friend Lindsay's farm, who we've done a few events there as well, Rosewater Farm, which is right in Granville. And she's been so gracious to host, and is hosting our next event at the beginning of October too. So that was really cool because we had all the animals there and just this beautiful space, and she's a lover of nature as well, so you know that the space is really blessed with, you know, that kind of love.
Right.
Yeah.
And you love going to farms.
Yes.
With these events, and we've not even mentioned that yet. Can you talk a little bit about the places you've been able to kind of venture to and to bring this Radiant Wild to?
Well, I've been I'm really lucky to have a group of girlfriends who've been really incredibly supportive in offering their spaces. So Lindsay at Rosewater Farm, and also my friend Natalie hosted an event. Hers isn't technically a farm, but she's got space, she's got trails, she's got beautiful land, garden, flowers, and those are both in Granville. Then plus this location of Spring Valley. It just was significant for me to begin with places where I had women that I was deeply connected with, and my friendships are very impactful for me, and my girlfriends have been so supportive of my vision. So for them to be able to be a part of it and be, you know, the provider of the space has been again really fulfilling, and I think I hope that is a two-way street. You know, they benefit as well. Right.
And I mean, because your mission is definitely to fix myself here real quick on TV. Your overall mission really is just to lift these women up to their power that they're lacking, that they don't know that is lacking.
Yes, not even, I wouldn't even use the word lacking. I would use that they've forgotten, you know, that has been. We live in a very patriarchal society. I won't get into my whole patriarchy talking, but that power of creation is within all of us, you know, and as women, that's often forgotten, and instead of empowering, it's what can I buy, what can I do, what can I, all this more and more, and that's part of the patriarchy. Let's make them think they need to do all of this more, instead of going deep within and realizing I don't need any of that. I am amazing and powerful and beautiful and a creator simply as I am, you know, and when you step into that, you can live your life more fully. You can be a loving presence for everyone around you and give them permission to do the same. And in my mind, that's how we're going to heal the planet, right? Is for women to really step up, because what we're doing is not working. You know, what we're doing is not working. And I think really that's a lack in matriarchy. That's a lack in the women coming together and finding solutions. And that means we have to break down the barriers of comparison and competition and scarcity mindset. And those are all instilled in us through, you know, you need more, you know, and
work together, not against each other.
Right.
Find your support systems.
Right.
Something else that it would be really great if we could mention, we have just a few minutes left. Could you talk about some of the places where you teach?
Yes. So most closely to where I live in Pataskala, I teach at Fierce Wellness Hot Yoga. So it's a really wonderful little space. It's a Ma and Pa studio. And I say Ma and Pa only because the other space that I work on in Columbus is big, it's state of the art. So this is just a little bit more close-knit community. I teach there twice a week, 4 classes total, but double, back to back. So Monday nights and Thursday nights. Booty yoga and Bikram yoga. And then I also teach in Columbus at Bikram Hot Yoga Columbus. It's a big studio on 3rd Avenue with the Flame. And I'm also certified in Inferno Hot Pilates, which the name can be a little deceiving. It's really basically just a hot boot camp. It's HIIT training in a hot room. And that's been a big hit at both studios. People love the intensity of it. It's fun, it's loud music, you know, you feel really good when you leave. So those are, you know, the places that I'm at, and I'm really grateful for those studios as well, because they've given me the space to grow, and they honor when I need to take time to do my own thing, and kind of let me put myself into the classes that I'm teaching without a lot of restriction. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the freedom to kind of develop and create whatever it is you want to create. I don't like to be stuck in a box too, because
so I'm really grateful.
Well, if people are interested in learning about where they can find you, and you can even mention these different studios information if you like, or some of the events, feel free.
Okay, so most of my promoting right now is done on social media. You can find me at Radiant Wild or at Kalee J. Maloney. I do a lot of combo from my personal and through Radiant Wild. And then Bikram Hot Yoga Columbus, that's the studio right on 3rd Avenue in Columbus. Their schedule is all online. I'm there every other Sunday, 2 classes each Sunday morning. And then Fierce Wellness Hot Yoga. They have an Instagram account as well, Facebook. But again, you can just look them up online. And there's classes at each studio every day of the week. And there's wonderful teachers there and a lot of different variety. And I encourage you to get out and try them all. And you know, if you're in that phase right now, I know it's just kind of a funny time in history where you're not comfortable going into a studio. I really am trying to put 1 or 2 events out through Radiant Wild a month, you know, a big gathering, and then we'll try to do usually 2 bike rides each month, where it's a little shorter of a session, it's a little bit more intimate, where you get to bike ride and do a little yoga, and we do a little moon ritual. So all of that information is on the Radiant Wild account on Facebook and Instagram.
Well, thank you so
You're so welcome.
much.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. And I also just want to make a shout to Todd and Sarah at Fife Backyard Farms, because they connected us.
They did.
And I knew that we had a connection, Todd and Sarah and I, and I'm really grateful that they thought of me and thought to send,
likewise,
you know, each
very
other.
much.
Yeah.
Radiant Wild, Kalee Maloney here recording at the Spring Valley Nature Preserve. If you could see it right now, our camera guy is dancing because it's been so amazing, and that's all we have time for. So we will see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.